what's up, studs? Welcome to AskEM MandRproductions episode 129. If you guys enjoy the series, make sure you hit that like button down there, and if you have a question that you want answered on next week's show, you can leave it in the comments section below, and when I read through them, there's a chance it'll get picked. Anyway, tomorrow I should be live streaming some LEGO Harry Potter sets being built in like the morning or afternoon, early afternoon, so keep your eye out for that live stream. Very excited to finally have those summer 2020 Harry Potter sets. And I also bought this, which doesn't count as buying LEGO apparently, because I did a poll on my Instagram, and most people said it did not count. And it's not LEGO, right? It's not physical LEGO. It's a PS4 game. So yeah, I'm going to be playing this on M&R Games, so I think I really enjoyed rewatching the Harry Potter movies, and I kind of remembered that this existed, and I was like, yeah, let's give it a shot. Anyway, our first question comes from Matthew, and he says, do you think we will ever see new sets from the animated Clone Wars miniseries from 2003 to 2004? They did the Anakin's custom Jedi Starfighter a few years back, so I don't think it's out of the question. I would like to say this to start off answering this question. I think anything in Star Wars is not out of the question. I think some people will like be, oh, well, Solo came out in 2018, they'll never make anything again. Anything is possible, okay? Just leaving that out there. Now, will they make things specifically from the animated Clone Wars from 2003 to 2004? I don't know. In the next decade, we might see one set. Now, there are some really cool, like, clone scenes in that whole thing with the ARC gunship. I would love to see that. That would be a great set. But if they made the ARC gunship, it would be awesome to see a speeder bike along with Dirge, who is one of the bad guys in that show that can kind of, like, regenerate himself. So that's what I would want. I would want the ARC gunship with Dirge in there as like the counter to that. Do I think it's possible? Yeah. Do I think it's likely? Not really. The Panther Plays Guitar says, hey Ryan, when you started making YouTube videos, how long did it take you to start getting paid for it? So YouTube has changed a lot since I started making YouTube videos. We'll just use this channel as the example. So looking at my analytics from back in the day, it looks like the first time I actually made money on this channel was on January 4th, 2011, and I made 99 cents that day. I followed it up with a solid 4 cents the next day, and then a penny the day after that. So, you know, very slow going at those beginning days. And that was back when you could just monetize straight away. That's not a thing you can do anymore. You have to have like 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours watch time. So that's also a thing. And I will also say I kind of started out my channel with a bang with my Clone Army. Like that was a pretty big video. And in its lifetime has gotten almost 500,000 views. So definitely started the channel off on the right foot with that video. So not very long, but like, I obviously didn't make a lot of money. Douglas Smith says, when you get your new house, will you be like Brick Vault and put MOCs on display and let people come to your house and see your MOCs? No, I'm not inviting random people to my house. That is not the idea. So yeah, I will not be doing that. I also don't plan to like get a separate building where I invite people to come look at my stuff. It will be my stuff and it'll be a private collection. I make YouTube videos, you could see it on there, but I never, and I guess never say never, but I do not plan to ever just have a thing where anyone and everyone can just come and look at my stuff at my house or my building or whatever. Felix says, how long did it take you to get your first check from YouTube, and how long was it until you got $100 from it? So those are both the same thing because YouTube doesn't pay you until you get $100. I feel fine about sharing these like early YouTube things because it has nothing to do with really how much I make now and whatnot. So let's see when I got that first $100 check. So if you remember, I started uploading on this channel on December 27th, 2010. It took a little over 4 months to make that first $100. You can see going at usually less than $1 a day. It definitely adds up over time, but in the grand scheme of things is rather little on the day-to-day. But not bad at the beginning. It honestly was part of what helped me get a lot of LEGO sets early on, and I would just kind of reinvest that money right back into whatever LEGO set I wanted at the time when the money would show up. Soren Stark says, hi, I'm French, and I discovered your channel 1 month ago, and since then, I've been perfecting my English by watching your videos. Dude, that's crazy. I should just start throwing in words that aren't words to throw you off. He says, I love your videos and your live shows because you are really passionate and you can feel it. Thank you, man. His question is, do you always have in mind to build a Ghost MOC, and if so, which MOC will you choose, and which other MOCs would you like to do? Currently, the Ghost MOC I'm going to use is by Clyde Chestnut. Hopefully I got his name right. And he's a fan of the channel, and he built this amazing UCS-style Ghost MOC that isn't like 10, it's like 3,000 pieces, so it's reasonable. And I plan to do that for October. I want to do that from October. Now, what I want to do and what will happen can be two very different things, so keep that in mind if it doesn't happen. And as far as which other MOCs I'd like to do, I've always wanted to build Hoth, and I'm sure when I move out, I'll build some really cool stuff, or at least I hope to build some really cool stuff. And again, what I hope to do and what ends up happening in reality can be two very different things. Braden says, what do you think are the most accurate LEGO Star Wars minifigures ever made? That's a tough one. Honestly, would it not be like gold C-3PO or something? Although the gold C-3PO print isn't that good. Like obviously the chrome gold is pretty accurate. Maybe gold or the silver TC-14 would be on that list. The Boba Fett's, like especially the ones with like the extra printing from like UCS Cloud City, have been killing it. The Han Solo from that same Cloud City set was really, really accurate. I don't know if I have a particular one in mind that is the most accurate ever, because LEGO minifigures are inherently inaccurate just because of their shape, but LEGO does a great job of getting the details down and getting the likeness of the character down in a lot of cases like that. So those ones that I mentioned are the ones that come to mind as like the most accurate. The Darth Vader is pretty good in a lot of cases. I would say the new Stormtrooper, nah, just kidding, the new Stormtrooper's trash. Dark Rye Bricks says, have you ever gotten onto the YouTube trending page before? No, I have never been on the YouTube trending page. I have no idea how to get on there or what the criteria for that is. I don't think I ever will end up on there, and it's not that important to me. I don't know. I never used the YouTube trending page myself, to be honest. The YouTube trending page is also something that's like handpicked by YouTube, apparently. Like it's not like the actual things that are trending. It's just whatever YouTube feels like it. So maybe one day YouTube will feel like it and pick my video, but yeah, it doesn't really matter to me. Paul the Fam says, hey Ryan, not really LEGO related, but in high school, were you a big party guy? No, I was not into that at all. Not drink, party, whatever. I just wasn't a fan of that. And I went to a school that didn't really do too much of that anyway, I guess. But I would say that my idea of a good Friday night includes Call of Duty, making YouTube videos, listening to a podcast. Like, my idea of a good Friday night is very different. Watching basketball or sports or whatever. I don't know. There's things that I like that I would rather do than that, and that's what I have always done. Alessandro says, do you plan on collecting Legos your whole life? Yes. I have no reason to stop. I really enjoy it. Now, I think the reason I picked this question is because there is some things that go along with that, right? I think one thing I want to do, especially with moving out, hopefully within the next year, I would like to never dust the Lego set again in my life. I think that's an important thing about that for me, because my Lego collection is rather large, and there are some issues when you reach such a level. If you actually care about taking care of your stuff and you want to keep it in good condition. If you don't care, I mean, it doesn't matter, right? I want to keep my stuff in good condition, and so I need to get glass display cabinets. I need to do a bunch of different things to just counteract dust and keep it away from my Lego stuff, because dusting Lego sets can be very time consuming. People ask me all the time, Ryan, how do you clean your shelves? I don't. You can't. I mean, you can. I dust them occasionally, but like, you don't keep it all clean. You can't. That's impossible. So the way to do that, though, is to buy display cases that are sealed tight and dust free, and therefore you're going to be set there. So I never want to dust another Lego set in my life, and to basically, if I want to collect Lego the rest of my life, which is what I want to do, I would have to make sure that I make it easier on myself than it is now, because it does become a bit of a chore to want to keep your stuff clean. Like, there's a bunch of Lego sets in my room that you can probably see that are rather dusty, and it's unfortunate. So things like that need to be streamlined. And especially as a video maker, like when I make a video and I want to show something or do a comparison of an old set to a new set, I want my old set to be in perfect condition so that they can look nice next to each other, not in this decrepit, yellowed, covered in dust. And so when I do a comparison of an older set, sometimes the stuff you don't see with the production of a video like that is just how much time I may spend cleaning the older version of the set, depending on where I've kept it for the last however many years. Flipping Waffles says, what is the best value Star Wars set of all time? Oh man, that is a question that's probably going to vary from person to person. I'm sure there's a good dozen or 2 dozen sets that are probably pretty much all on that same level. I think I know the answer. I think this is an answer that a lot of people can get behind. The 2007 set number 7662 MTT might be the best value LEGO Star Wars set of all time. For $100, the model was huge. It had like 22 battle droids or 20 battle droids or something. And yeah, that one would probably be my pick for the best value for a LEGO Star Wars set of all time at $100 there. That thing was a killer deal. And like I said, there's probably a dozen or 2 dozen other sets that are on par with the value of that set, but that one to me is one that a lot of people kind of hold as like the golden standard for LEGO Star Wars set pricing for what it was. Hey Animate says, if you were allowed to make your own LEGO Star Wars set, what would it be? Didn't I just kind of do that? That's what it would be. The 501st Battle Pack, that's exactly it. So I kind of did, and yeah, that's my answer, as I kind of already did. World asks, do you receive any fan mail? You're a really cool guy, and it'd be awesome to see you interact with your fans more. I do receive fan mail occasionally. I've had a P.O. box for about 2 years. I'll put the address on screen. You're more than welcome to send me fan mail. My only stipulation with that is I had been doing like the fan mail videos for a while, and that's fun and all. To me, it had just become overwhelming, and I was like, I don't think I can make these videos anymore. And while I appreciate people sending me stuff, I feel guilty sometimes receiving stuff, so that's also a thing to me as to why I don't like do the videos and like pimp it out more, I guess you could say. But I do get some really nice letters in there occasionally, which is awesome. Sometimes I'll open stuff in the vlog is where you'll see a lot of that. But I definitely cannot guarantee anything like that would ever end up in a video, because if I guarantee it and then it doesn't happen, then people get mad, so I don't want to guarantee it. Josh says, what LEGO Star Wars ship has the coolest interior? Got a couple answers for this one. Off top of my head, the 2008 ATT is one that I really liked, and that's a set that I actually modified myself a lot. That was something a lot of people did back in the day. But that one had a really good interior because the front and the back could be, you know, modified and whatever, and there was plenty of space in there to do whatever you wanted with it. I liked that interior. I think the ATT's predecessor from the early 2000s was also really good as far as the interior goes. But I think my one true answer to this has to be the 2006 Imperial Star Destroyer. There was the escape pod thing in there. You could place the Royal Guards around it and whatnot. In the farther back section, you had a area with Darth Vader's transformation, albeit in a very odd scale. You had little control panels and things, I think. You had weaponry area for your stormtroopers, and then even the bridge had a rather large interior where you could fit a couple of commanding officers. So I think that 2006 Star Destroyer ends up being the one with the coolest interior, in my opinion. Sinister says, not LEGO related, and that's fine. You guys can ask. A couple times people preface their question. Your questions do not have to be LEGO related at all, although most of it obviously ends up being about LEGO given the nature of my channel. Says, what do you think of the PS5? I don't have much in-depth thoughts on the PS5. I haven't really given it a lot of thought. I can say I plan to buy it. I think the design is very interesting looking. It's different than what you see on a lot of consoles, obviously. A lot of curves going on there. The black and the white really contrast each other. But I think it may all come down to the price with that thing. I mean, I'm gonna buy it regardless of what the price is, probably. But I think that it could sway a lot of people depending on their price. 'Cause I've seen, you know, wild rumors being thrown around that it might be $700, and that is a lot of money for a console like that. Because my PS4 Pro was like $400, so if it's $700, that's crazy to me. But we'll see what happens. Obviously, we don't know the price yet, so that may be the deciding factor for a lot of people, though. Yoda Eats Porg says, hi Ryan, do any of your friends or family members disapprove of your expanding LEGO collection and your career as a YouTuber? Not that I know of, and honestly, like, even if they did, like, I don't give a rat's. I don't care. Like, they can disapprove all they want. I'm going to keep doing what I want to do. You know, I think that that's a mentality people need to have, is like, why do you care what these other people think about what you're doing? Like, obviously, they're your family members, they're your friends, but like, at the end of the day, I'm going to keep doing what I want to do, and this is that, and it's been great. Tristan Oliver says, will you play EA's new Star Wars Squadrons game when it comes out, and what do you think of Star Wars games in general? I don't play a lot of Star Wars games, to be honest. I'm definitely going to play the LEGO Star Wars Skywalker Saga later this year. I played the early Battlefronts. Those were good. But, you know, like Star Wars games, I think, are hit and miss. And especially for me, someone who doesn't play single-player games, a lot of their games can be single-player. But the Star Wars Squadrons game is one that I think I'm actually going to like and enjoy, because when I was younger, I had a Nintendo 64, and I had the Rogue, I think it was Rogue Squadron, on that console, and I just always remember having a blast on there, as bad as the graphics were compared to what they are now. That game was a load of fun. I remember getting stuck on like level 15 or something. I could never get past it, never did. And I also had a real tough time, because I was younger, figuring out how to like toe grapple the AT-ATs on whatever level that was, so those were tough for me. But I think that this one, I'm definitely going to play, because I have that nostalgic attachment to this kind of franchise, and apparently there'll be some single player with it, but it'll be a focus on multiplayer, which is probably ideal for me as someone who really only cares for multiplayer games for the most part. Like, I just want to like beat other people at a thing, and that's kind of what I'm wired to do. I could care less about beating a computer. Like, that doesn't give me any satisfaction. So will I play it? Probably. That's the answer I can give you. Obviously no guarantees, but probably. Lauren says, Ayo, long-time listener, first-time caller. That is why I picked your question, by the way. I thought that was hilarious, and I can't believe I have never seen that in the comments on this before, so that's I picked your question, just so you know. That was really funny. It made me laugh last night. I'm looking to get my first UCS set. I was wondering what set you think offers the best value factoring in design and figures and whatnot. So for UCS, you have a few options here. You can buy one of the $200 sets that are out now, which is basically the A-Wing, or I guess if you want to count the Tantive 4, that counts. And both of those sets are excellent sets, both, in my opinion, well worth their $200 price tags. Your second option, as far as sets available now, is going to be $700 or $800 with the UCS Falcon and Star Destroyer, and if you have that money, I would totally recommend either of those. Flip a coin, can't go wrong with either one. Honestly, maybe go for the Falcon first, because the Falcon's older and might retire sooner. Not guaranteed that would happen, but potentially. And your other option is in that middle range, right? It's the $300, $400, $500 range, and that's where you're going to be on eBay and Bricklink buying something, because LEGO currently doesn't sell anything in that price range. And that's where you're going to find sets like the UCS X-Wing from 2013, and that one's maybe $300, $350 sealed in box from my memory. Like, you can get something like that. You could buy something like the UCS Slave 1 for that $300 or $400 sealed in box. Excellent set. Obviously would have been better if you'd got it back at the $200 price, but it's one of the best UCS sets ever. But it all depends on your price range there. So hopefully I've given you something to think about as far as that. But as far as available now for $200, the A-Wing is probably the choice to make. If you got the $700, $800, Star Destroyer or Falcon, flip a coin. And if you're in that $300, $400 no man's land and you're going to end up looking on eBay for that price range, Slave 1, X-Wing from 2013, both excellent sets. And there's some other ones. Maybe you fancy the Sandcrawler, which you can't really see back there, but the UCS Sandcrawler also usually ends up in that, little on the north side of $400 sealed in box. But all excellent sets there that I've kind of listed out for you. So hopefully you can pick one of them. I obviously can't just pick one for you. You got to make your own decision there, but I've kind of hopefully narrowed it down for you with some of my favorites. Will says, where do you find all your minifigures? Well, typically I find my LEGO minifigures in the boxes when I buy the sets. That's where they usually come from, and then sometimes I'll find them again in these like bins that have appeared in my room where I actually end up putting them after I put them in the boxes. So that's where I typically find my LEGO minifigures. I don't find them anywhere special. They come in the LEGO sets. Yeetus Skeetus says, have you thought about buying glass cases from XYZ company? I took off the company that you mentioned because I'm not giving people free advertising. If a glass case company wants to sponsor me though, I'm here. The answer is yes, I have, and I think those are very good products, but I think to me, for my personal needs, at least right now, obviously what's gonna end up happening is I'm gonna get these giant glass shelves, and I don't want like individual sets covered. I want them all covered, and that's not a service that, those companies offers. I could see myself doing it like for individual sets that I want to get out of the glass case and like put on a desk or a shelf or something like that that's not like in the main thing, or honestly maybe in the future when because I don't want to get rid of those shelves when I move out and get new shelves. I really like those. I will probably end up getting some of those cases to cover things that I end up putting like on those. I don't know where, like those may end up being in the living room. But yeah, I've thought about it. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. I'll also say about my shelves, you're going to kind of notice them changing over the next few months because I'm constantly dusting things, and you guys can probably see down there. There's some bins down there that have all been dusted and cleaned perfectly, sets, and then they're stored away, or they're new sets that got put in there, obviously, that I just built, like the Hedwig. So what you're going to be seeing happening back there is the sets are going to start to disappear, and I'm basically doing this to make it easier when I move out, so there'll be stuff in cases and things already, and then put it in glass case and never have to worry about the dust. And so what you're going to see happening with those shelves behind there over the coming weeks and months is the sets will start to dwindle, and I'm going to be replacing them with boxes as kind of my background for a little while. So things are going to change a little bit. Maybe it'll be interesting for you guys to have a little bit of a different background to look at there. So that's what's just going to be happening though. So I'm just being straight up there while it's on the mind. Caden says, as a teen, did you ever feel embarrassed about buying Lego in a store? Keep up the great vids. Baby Yoda is cute. Well, thank you, and keep your hands off my Baby Yoda. I don't think I've ever felt embarrassed buying Lego. I really think that that's something you got to get over that mental hurdle of. If you're of that mindset, you're really overthinking it. Just go out, enjoy what you enjoy, and buy what you want to buy. Throw a Barbie doll in there, and then you can be embarrassed about that and definitely not the Lego. I don't know. Alex says, out of all the LEGO Star Wars YouTubers you know, who do you think has the largest collection? So I'm gonna do LEGO YouTubers in general. I think Just Too Good might have the largest collection of a person I know. His is kind of split though. I've never really seen it all in one place, but as far as like what his Brickset or whatever says, or what he says he has, he seems to have the largest collection out of people I know. So it's kind of hard to get a gauge exactly, but that would be my best guess for who has the largest collection out of people I know. I can't think of anyone else that would be on that level. David says, hey MNR, do you think LEGO will ever make another Palpatine's Arrest? I hope I didn't talk about this too recently. So this summer, they're obviously re-releasing the Death Star Final Duel set, and so that kind of opens up the potential for them to do something like that with Palpatine's Arrest, where they kind of release the set or re-release the set where it looks very similar to the old one, because there's not so much you can change about something like that if you do want to do a remake of it without making it completely fundamentally different. Update some things, upgrade some things, maybe up the price 10 or 20 bucks like you would expect, and re-release the set. Totally down for that. Will they ever remake it? Do I think they will? Yes. Should they do it in the way that they've done with the Death Star Final Duel? In my opinion, also yes. So the gate is open for that thing to happen, hopefully next summer. This one got 200 likes for some reason. Says, was you mom you first subscriber? If not, who was? Dude, it's been a decade. I have no idea who my first subscriber was. Gibberish Bamboo says, since you want every LEGO Star Wars set, are you going to try to have every minifigure too? Comes with the territory, my dude. Comes with the territory. As mentioned earlier, the figures come in the boxes with the sets. Adam Hogan says, would you ever do an Ask MandRproductions video live? I've answered this before. It's probably like, 20, 30, 40 weeks ago or whatever. But the answer is no. And the reason the answer is no is a couple reasons. One, I like doing the videos. I think there's a difference there. Like, the videos and the way they're edited, I think, make them what they are. Two, every live stream I do is essentially that. I just answer questions throughout the live stream kind of on and off, right? So I don't see the difference between what a live stream for me is now most of the time and what you would want out of that. Unless there's like some big difference between it, I'm not seeing, other than the title, right? Like, it would be like Ask MandRproductions Live. But to me, I just like, I don't know, maybe I should be doing it. I have always been against doing that. So unless there's some like eureka moment where I have an idea to really spice it up or something like that, I don't see a reason to do it, because every live stream I do, I'm literally reading the chat and answering questions anyway. Like, to me, I just don't see the difference in why I would have to make it this special thing when I already feel like it's a thing. Adam says, what are you going to do on comparisons when YouTube removes the polls? So yeah, this is very unfortunate. The video is not out yet, but I did film a comparison video of the Imperial landing crafts. And at the end of it, I was like, I would put a poll on screen, except YouTube took them away. And I'm just like, oh, it's real sad, because usually they would, poll on the top right of the screen, you guys can vote. And I really liked that feature. I thought it was really interactive, really fun, gave you guys a way to give some really easy feedback by just tapping or clicking the one you wanted to pick. And, I'd use it on AskEM quite a lot, and I would use it obviously on the comparisons in almost every single one. I'd be like, pick which one you think is best, right? Because I thought that was a really neat way to, like, let you have some say, and at least to, obviously it doesn't get put in the video what you think, because the video's out there by the time you're voting on it, but at least the people that come along and watch the video can be like, oh, so this is what, the general consensus is. And I always really like that. And yeah, it's a real bummer that those are gone. I could always put like a link in the description to like a Google form or something like that, but it'll never be the same. Yeah, it's almost depressing. It's almost depressing that that's gone, because that was such a fun feature for me with those videos that I really thoroughly enjoyed using. And yeah, no more polls, man. You can still do polls on the community tab, but again, it's not the same. It's got to be, all in the video. And yeah. Pablo the Dinosaur King says, my birthday is in August and I saw the new sets coming out and they all look amazing, but I'm only getting $100 to spend on LEGO. What should I get? I think the answer is obvious. For $100, you got the $70 Night Buzzard. Really, honestly, I was thinking about this today. It might be the most flawless LEGO Star Wars Summer set. And by flawless, I mean, like, I don't see anything wrong with it, right? Like, even the 501st Battle Pack, there'll be some people, talking about the white hip piece. Don't really care about that. I think that looks fine. My flaw with the 501st Battle Pack is that the walker's gun is a stud shooter, and it looks ridiculous, bad. And the AAT, its gun on top is just way too long compared to the body of the AAT. Doesn't work, inaccurate. But I think the Night Buzzard might be the best one, or maybe not the best set, that's not the way I wanted to phrase it, but the most flawless set. Kind of two different things, but maybe it's all one and the same to you. Maybe you think the Night Buzzard's the best. I think the 501st Battle Pack's the best. Razor Crest, also pretty good. And so that's your $70, and then for $30, get a 501st Battle Pack. There's your $100. And that's all, folks, for Ask MandRproductions 129. If you guys have a question you want to answer next week, leave it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and vote on the poll in the top right. Oh, no poll. See ya.